Alright, hello everyone. It is Friday, March 31st, 2023. And I don't want to make it like a regular habit like the old days where I used to rant and rave about New York 1 not covering the news. And you know how you guys expected it on a normal occasion. But guys, let me tell you, this isn't only about New York 1. It's the other media outlets that are going to be too busy covering the Trump indictment and the arraignment expected on Tuesday. And as a Queens County resident, I feel that I need to get the news out to you guys because who else is going to do it on the internet? It's not right. Unfortunately, guys, this is how our media runs nowadays. There are a bunch of corrupt people who infiltrate everything. They don't want you to really know what's going on. And, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to talk about what's going on here in Queens. There's a lot of stories here in Queens we really do need to get into, and I'm gonna go randomly from what I found and what I thought was important that I need to bring to you guys. So I guess what we will do is just go by tabs that I have placed here. So in total, we're gonna read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15 articles. So we're going to read in total 13 from the Courier. We're going to read one from the Long Island City Post. And we're going to read one article from Patch. And I think I want to get to the good news, believe it or not. Because nowadays we rarely have good news. And that is a brand new business is opening in Fresh Meadows a week from tomorrow. Yes, so let's get into it. And this has been anticipated by the thousands of Fresh Meadows residents who have been waiting for this news. Including, yes, our fellow new Fresh Meadowan, Rick Pitino, the coach at St. John's University, has also been anticipating this news. Okay, so the headline reads, Duck Donuts will be opening in the Fresh Meadows Shopping Plaza on 188th Street a week from tomorrow. So here we go. This chain, it's a small chain, but there's a lot of hype towards it. And of course, I can thank one Fresh Meadows resident in particular. I'm not going to mention her name. But thanks to a Fresh Meadows resident who's been trying to revitalize the Fresh Meadows Shopping Plaza, including hopefully getting a bid for Trader Joe's, a new business is opening inside the Fresh Meadows Shopping Plaza, and that is Pennsylvania-based Duck Donuts. The donut shop will be directly next to Kohl's. And unfortunately, guys, this is bad news for yours truly because I can't go to the store until after Passover. Yes, the only exemption I'm allowed in my diet is Cheerios. Don't ask why. My doctor wants me to have some kind of wheat during Passover, but anything else, no bread, no English muffins, no bagels even. So that includes donuts and pizza and empanadas because they all have wheat in them. So this sucks for me, but I could still have meat. That's one positive during Passover, but I will be taking a look at this donut shop after Passover, and I'll do a video about it. But yes, in case you're wondering where is it going to be in the Fresh Meadows Shopping Plaza, it will literally be right next door to Kohl's. So the history goes this donut chain first began in North Carolina about 15 years ago. So they've been around. And it will be owned by a husband and wife. So of course we welcome them. So look at that, folks. I mean, 3 new residents of Fresh Meadows are joining our community. I mean, we got Rick Pitino and now we got this husband and wife who, are going to be joining everyone here in Fresh Meadows. So here are the hours. Duck Donuts in Fresh Meadows will be open Sunday to Thursday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Friday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. So limited hours. I can understand with the crime and everything, they don't want to be open overnight. I completely get it, Okay, 10% of the proceeds from opening week will be donated to Children's Let me make sure I got this right. Children's Village, New York, Queens Community House, and spinal muscular atrophy violation. Okay. So I want to see if Rick Pitino was mentioned here. Let's see. That's another important story that we do need to get into. So let's see if it pulls up. Let's see. Guess they don't have anything. Unless I can just look up St. John's. So I like to see if there's like a local article on another fellow Fresh Meadowman who will be joining us in our community. Okay, this is what I was looking for. I knew I had an extra article, so I'm going to be brief about this. If you have not heard the news, been under a rock or something, I can understand with our busy lives. The good news is that Hall of Fame basketball coach Rick Pitino will be coaching the men's basketball team at St. John's University on Utopia Parkway. So this is excellent news for the athletics program. He has a very good track record. He's won national championships in Power 5 conferences. He now joins the Big East Conference, and this is definitely some good news. And this is him, I think a week ago? Yeah, this was last week at Madison Square Garden. So remember, St. John's shares their home games at Carnesecca Arena on Utopia Parkway. It's technically on Union Turnpike if you walk it. And of course, Madison Square Garden in Midtown. But yes, welcome to Fresh Meadows, Rick. So, I mean, there are some positive aspects to our community. Don't get me wrong. Now we have to get to the bad news. Alright, and I know I don't want to talk about it, but yes, I want to get into this in Fresh Meadows. So here we go. A statue was destroyed outside of a church in Fresh Meadows. I mean, how cruel is this before Easter? So here we go. This belonged to a Roman Catholic church. Okay. So, according to the 107 precinct, the detectives believe that these are kids between the ages of 15 and 17. They smashed the statue in the rear of the Holy Family Church at 175-20 74th Avenue. So this happened again March 23rd. So this happened last Thursday. All right. This was March. Yes, okay. Got it right here. So this happened after 10 p.m. So Crime Stoppers does have a good look of these kids. I don't want to show you the video because it's just too graphic, but here's a good look of them. I mean, these kids have got to face consequences, you know. I mean, this is a hate crime. This is absolutely a hate crime. So, here they are right here. Alright, so let's get into some other important news before we get to the other crime stuff, because I wanted to discuss the bad news in Fresh Meadows in my community, but anyhow, let's get into some developing news regarding the Ben's Kosher Deli in Bay Terrace. So, anybody in the Jewish community was worried about their catering orders not being filled for Passover. It sounds like as of today, March 31st, it looks like the Ben's Deli on Bell Boulevard is going to reopen. So that's excellent news. If you had a catering order for Passover on Wednesday, because Passover begins sundown Wednesday and will end on April 12th. Good news is, looks like your kosher orders will be filled. So, this was first reported by an anonymous user on the Bayside Queens Facebook group, and according to the Queens Courier, they were shut down due to a permit issue. As of yesterday, March 30th, the restaurant has reopened. So that is good news, again, given that the Jewish community is, you know, expecting to have their orders filled for Wednesday night, that would have really been bad news. Okay, according to a corporate spokesperson for Ben's Kosher Delicatessen, the closure had nothing to do with the sanitary condition. The spokesperson had told the Queen's Courier the restaurant was shut down due to a permit being renewed by the New York City Health Department. So the new permit was issued. They are officially allowed to be reopened by the City of New York. So as I keep mentioning, the orders placed for this Wednesday, April 5th, will be filled. So that's good news. And, again, that would have been really bad. I mean, you got the Jewish Center across the street from Ben's. They get a lot of orders from them. So, yeah, that would have really been bad, guys. So, that's good news that Ben's is reopening. Very good. That would have been really devastating, but at least that came to fruition. Now, we do have to get into some more bad news about another restaurant that has closed in Queens, if I can find it. It's in the dining and nightlife section if you go on qns.com. By the way, I want to mention, if you go on the Queen's Courier website, if you are in, there are some things to do this weekend, including one notable thing in Astoria that I won't get into. Oh, I might as well get into the Mediterranean restaurant. We'll get into that. Okay. Here we go. As of March 28th, so this was this Tuesday, the Bayside Diner on Northern Boulevard and Clearview Expressway has officially shut down for good. According to the owners, the closure resulted from impacts of inflation and, of course, the impacts of the coronavirus pandemic. So, according to a statement that was placed on the door of the diner, in quote, "To our loyal customers, it is with heavy heart that after decades of service to our community, we are closing Bayside Diner. Unfortunately, due to inflation and the lasting efforts of the COVID-19 pandemic, we are forced to close our doors permanently. We sincerely thank the Bayside community as well as our current and past employers for their loyalty and hard work. It has been an absolute privilege serving the Bayside community over these many years, and we will never forget the love and support our customers and employees have shown us. We urge you to please continue to support your local small businesses." So, yeah, guys, it was just so unfortunate. And I will mention, I have spoken to Angela off the record. And, I have mentioned, look, there are plenty of diners in Long Island that are hiring. That's the good news. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Operating a diner in Queens has become so difficult with all these restrictions, with inflation. It's not like Long Island where Bruce Blakeman's giving them a tax break. They're able to operate under better conditions. And, that's one positive I'll say out of the Blakeman administration. But everything else I don't want to get into right now. I just don't. So, here's more of the specifics. The diner was purchased by Spiro and Ethan Callistus in 2010. So they did shut down that year. I remember that. They reopened in 2011. They did remodel. So this is interesting. So the diner has been open. Well, was open since 1962. It was originally called the Copper Penny Diner. Yes! I remember that. George, the security guard at Osnum, told me that once. Right. Well, it's a very rich history, Very rich history. I'm very worried that Blue Bay and North Shore are going to be next. I don't know. It's just my intuition with the way inflation's taking over everything. And as I said, guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you're not a Nassau County diner, even some of the Suffolk County diners I'll mention, if you're not operating in Nassau and Suffolk these days, you're not going to make it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. And listen, don't be surprised if you're a Nassau County resident, maybe Suffolk, but definitely Nassau. Don't be even the managers and the waitstaff. Don't be surprised that you hear stories of customers coming from Queens to eat at your dining establishment. They'll come. They'll drive out because not only are the prices a lot fairer and everything else, but the gas is actually cheaper too, by a few cents. So trust me, you can get a good deal on a good tank of gas too. Especially because the prices are going up again. We're switching to that summer one fuel. Now I want to mention one more thing about food. Thai Mediterranean Kitchen on 188th Street has opened. So they opened back on March 22nd. So last Wednesday they opened. And I have been noticing on 188th Street when I come home from Osnum, twice a week, I noticed they have been busy trying to reopen when I do my drive home with my dad. So yes, they have reopened. That's very good news. So again, guys, there are positives, Negatives and positives here. Okay, so let's get into this. So look at this, guys. When it affects the parks, I have to talk about it. Who will fire a gun at Murray Park? Alright, so here we go. This happened last Tuesday. 11th Street and 45th Avenue. This is bad. I mean, multiple gunshots rung out? I mean, really? At least the good news is there was no injuries. No property was damaged. Okay. Right, I wanted to read this one. I knew there was a missing story on the Courier. Target is opening a brand new Long Island City location. So where's this being opened? This is at Court Square. Wow. So right off the E train. Look at that. 1 Court Square West. So this was where the former Citigroup building is. Yeah, I know where this is. So it just opened on Tuesday. It's very good news, but we're still waiting to find out word when the location in New Hyde Park's going to open where the former Sears is. Because remember, that's on the Queens-Nassau borderline. Okay, so let me see. I want to get into this one first before we get to the other crime news. So here we go. 2-alarm fire in Whitestone. 2 firefighters were injured while battling a 2-alarm fire in Whitestone Thursday evening. The FDNY received a call at 5:30 on March 30th regarding a fire at Q's Moving Corp., a 3-story building at 149-16 14th Avenue, not far from FDNY engine 295 ladder 1544 Station House. Total of 25 units consisting of 106 fire personnel responded to the fire. It was called as a second alarm yesterday afternoon at 5:41 p.m. So, yeah, guys, this is not good. So, I'm going to have to use this as my thumbnail today because, trust me, the last thing I need to get into is you-know-who. And we'll close out the video by briefly mentioning it. Yeah, so all of Whitestone was just shocked and horrified. So the fire was under control just before 7 p.m. 2 firefighters were taken to Flushing Hospital. Alright, well, at least nobody else was injured. That's the good news. Just, thankfully, it was only firefighters in this situation. Okay, let's get into the other news, because there's a lot of stuff going on in Flushing we got to get into. Alright, here we go. A 19-year-old man was walking near 135-32 Roosevelt Avenue at 5:30 p.m. on Monday, March 13th. So, a suspect, an unknown man, proceeded to push the teen to the ground before stealing a cell phone and then fleeing the scene on foot. So, yeah, guys, it doesn't surprise me with that Flushing area being very dangerous. I mean, we still don't know where those suspects were in that jewelry store robbery. Okay, let me see what else I can find. Yes, Flushing too, so I'm going to get into this. 71-year-old man pushed in Flushing. So, here we go. Last weekend. Well, they don't even mention what date this happened. So, an elderly man was walking in front of 142-1838th Avenue. So, the senior citizen, 71-year-old, was pushed in the neck. So, there you go, guys. I mean, Flushing is really becoming a rough area lately. It really has. Okay, next incident. Anti-Semitism. Cops from the 110 precinct have arrested a man in Forest Hills, believed to be in connection to various anti-Semitic hate crimes. So, there was one incident in front of an NYPD precinct. So the suspect is from Forest Hills. Look at that. 34-year-old Antoine Blunt. So, NYPD charged him with 9 counts of aggravated harassment and 3 counts of hate crime criminal mischief in connection with the vandalism. So, according to the 112 and the 110 precinct who worked together in this incident, these incidents took place from Saturday, March 18th to, here we go. Last Friday, March 24th. So I have my calendar in front of me. So, look at all this stuff, man. I mean, it's crazy. So the main thing was, the suspect is accused of putting 2 swastikas into the cement in front of the 112 precinct. This happened 2 weeks ago on Saturday, March 18th. Then, on Monday, March 20th, near Rego Park School. This was outside of JHS 157. And then, 40 minutes later on the same night, in front of a residential building on Queens Boulevard. You gotta be kidding me. So this didn't happen right too far from the Q60 bus. Unbelievable. Then on Tuesday, March 21st, law enforcement sources said Blunt etched a swastika into the cement in front of a residential building at 112-20 72nd Drive. So, yes, 2 separate incidents last Wednesday. A temple was vandalized. Swastika was put in front of the building. Then a residential building on Austin Street was attacked. Sidewalk. Oh, and then get this. He went into the confines of the 107 precinct. You gotta be kidding me. Swastika at 70-17 Main Street. Yep, that's definitely the 107. That's South Flushing, the Jewish Orthodox community. And then the suspect drew a swastika in front of Queens College. So, yeah, guys, very disturbing. You know, you gotta understand, with Passover coming up, I mean, I'm just glad the police were able to make an arrest. You know? And let's see what else I gotta get into. Oh, something else in Flushing. Right, I knew I had something else to read. Okay, so look at this. A parking garage in Flushing. Robbing the same man inside a parking garage within the past 2 months. The first incident took place on Thursday, February 23rd, inside of a parking garage at 142-38th Avenue. A 51-year-old man was walking towards an elevator when an unknown man approached him and flashed a firearm while a second man served as a lookout. So, the first suspect pointed the gun at the victim's head and demanded money. When the victim said he didn't have any money, the thief snatched a key from the victim. So, we don't know what the key was for. Thankfully, the victim was not injured. Look at this. Then, back on Tuesday, March 14th, the crooks returned to the parking garage to rob the same man. You can't make this stuff up. Just before 10 p.m., when the same suspect approached him, pointed a gun to his head, demanded money. And this time, the victim had cash. Almost $6,000. Look at that. So the police do have an idea of who they're looking for, but yeah, they got a good idea. They're gonna find these guys. Definitely the first two. The third guy, that's gonna be difficult because guess what he's wearing? You guessed it, a face mask. Okay. So I got about... How many more I gotta read? I got about 4 more I gotta read. So let's see. I think we're gonna go to this. Okay. Joseph Abadiel Bridge. So let me read this one. Oh, this happened in Howard Beach. See, Howard Beach is a community that's always ignored. It doesn't surprise me. Alright, so here we go. This happened yesterday morning at 2:30 a.m. This happened on the Joe Abadiel Memorial Bridge, formerly known as the North Channel Bridge, in the vicinity of Cross Bay Boulevard within the confines of the 100th Precinct. So, this is what the NYPD is saying. A 32-year-old man was lying on the road with trauma to his head. Sadly, the victim was taken to Jamaica Hospital where he was pronounced dead. We have some details from the Highway District Collision Investigation Squad. The pedestrian was trying to attempt to cross the bridge east to west in a designated parking area. A 57-year-old man driving a 2018 Honda CR-V SUV struck him. So the good news is this is not a hit and run. That is very good news. The driver did remain on the scene and he was traveling northbound on Cross Bay Boulevard. So that's very scary. I mean, 2 o'clock in the morning? I mean, I don't know what was going on over there. Next story I'm going to get into, and this was first reported by Coronavirus New York on Instagram. Duo sought for stealing 11 PlayStation 5 consoles, $400 cash in an armed robbery of a GameStop in Ridgewood. Yep, and I know exactly where this is. Myrtle Avenue. So this happened back on Monday. Yeah, 12:37 p.m. Funny enough, I was just walking out of La Mescala getting my lunch. Go figure that out. Once inside, the suspect snatched 7 PS5 bundles and 4 more PS5 consoles. One of the crooks flashed a firearm and grabbed $400 from the cash register. The duo fled the scene in a black Nissan Murano on Myrtle Avenue. So, yeah, they got a good idea of the Nissan right here. Suspect sought for punching 81-year-old man in the face during a robbery in Far Rockaway. So this happened on Tuesday, February 28th. So this happened at 11-44 Foam Place, 12:30 p.m. An unknown man approached him and punched him in the face. $150 was snatched from the victim, and the suspect fled the scene on foot. Elderly man sustained minor injuries to his face as a result of the incident. So, one more we're going to get into, and then I'm going to give some closing thoughts on why it's going to be difficult to discuss local news. Here we go. So look at this. Queens Village CVS. Oh boy. Right in Charlton's neighborhood. Let's see where this happened. So this happened earlier this month. Yes, Thursday, March 2nd. 219-39 89th Avenue. I think this is not too far from Springfield Boulevard, if I'm correct. So this happened at 6:15 p.m. Once inside, the suspect grabbed merchandise and said he had a knife before threatening to attack store employees with force. Oh, yep. Definitely Springfield Boulevard. Suspect gun on a Q27 bus. Oh, he's definitely busted. Yep. Definitely on board a Nova bus because they have cameras inside. Mm-hmm. Look at that. They got a good picture of him. Mm-hmm. Alright. So, why is it going to be difficult to try to get the local news for a while, you may be wondering? That is because this person right here, this particular individual, our nation's 45th president, is being indicted on charges to paying money to an adult film star. I don't have to get into the specifics. I don't have to say this or that. I don't have to say that Alvin Bragg is politicizing his office as usual. Because it seems that's what he's always doing with George Soros. But I do need to make one point very clear here. Is that if we're not going to get any local news, it's not just New York One, alright? It's not just them like I've criticized them in the past. It's all the other local media outlets. You know, 2, 4, 5, 7, 11, you name it. It's going to be very difficult to get real local news that we need right now in this day and age with crime going up. You know, we need to know what's going on. We need to know with inflation when our local businesses are closing, like the Bayside Diner, for an example. You know, we need to find out when new restaurants are opening up, like the Mediterranean place and the donut place in Fresh Meadows that I brought up in this video. You know, we're sick and tired of hearing about Donald Trump all the time. You know, somebody has to speak up and say, this is enough. This has to stop. Somebody needs to tell us what's going on. And if this keeps up, guys, you're going to see more of these regular videos about what's going on in Queens, because that's all the patience I have these days for. I can't get into Long Island. I can't get into Brooklyn. You know, if something major goes on in Manhattan, like Midtown, you know, Upper West Side, Upper East Side, even Lower Manhattan, I'll cover that. But guys, please understand, I can't cover the other boroughs as much because that's not my area expertise to talk about Brooklyn or the Bronx or even Harlem. You know, I'm not familiar with Harlem that much, so yeah, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this up here. You know, please understand, with everything going on right now, this is all the time and the patience that I have to do. You guys got to understand that, okay? So again, as long as Trump is dominating the news cycle, and if we're not getting any local news in Queens and parts of Manhattan that I care about, then guys, I'm going to have to do these videos more often like I used to, calling out New York One. And I'm not going to be calling out New York One like the old days, alright? I'm going to strictly focus on the news that matters to me, that matters to you in Queens, that matters to you in the Upper East Side, the Upper West Side. You know, I want to mention something. A cop was assaulted on the Upper East Side a couple days ago. An off-duty police officer on 98th Street. You think the media is going to cover that? No. So yeah, guys, I'm done here. Alright, I hope I don't have to make another video about this during the weekend about what's going on in Queens. Let's just cool it down for the next couple of days. You know, WrestleMania, I want to talk about WrestleMania tomorrow. We're going to talk about WrestleMania tomorrow. I'm going to predict what's going to happen with the two nights. We got the finale of Uncharted coming up on Sunday. And guys, I have a video going up on Easter. It's not Andy Plays related. We're going to take a break from Andy Plays on Easter because I have a surprise coming on April 9th. Right? So I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you for watching. Stay informed and know what's going on in your community because your local media is not going to do it. Refer to your local newspapers like I'm doing. So that's it.